This disease, Guillian-Barre, it's known to either start at the feet and creep its way up, like, you know, destroying the nerves or whatever, or rarely it starts from the head and goes down. I was the rare dude who had it starting at the head going down. I just woke up one morning feeling really numb in my face, being really confused. I wasn't confused, I was just like, why am I numb in the face? And I was like, Mom, like, this is some weird shit. She's like, alright, just relax and all that, like, take it easy. So I was just sleeping and I was like, Mom, like, this is some serious shit. Like, I'm not, like, feeling my body. She's like, alright, we out to the pediatrician, which is right across the street from my house, luckily. And I was, like, limping at that point, because I was, like, getting physically weaker. And the doctor said, oh, it must be some nerve disease. And I remember getting there and just, like, so nauseous. And we got out of the cab and they put me in a wheelchair to go into this big, like, medical center. And I got in there and he was asking me some questions. He was like, did you snort anything? Did you do anything to, like, make yourself feel like this? And I hadn't. And I was just like, no, like, this just happened for no reason. And he was like, okay, like, follow my finger. So I was supposed to follow his finger with my eyes. And I wasn't able to follow his finger. So he was like, okay, you either have this disease or you have this disease. I was just, like, so deaded. I was just, like, you know, just out of it. And he was like, okay, it's either, you know, Guillian-Barre, which is what I ended up having, or some other shit which was not curable. Guillian-Barre, you heal from it, and the younger you are, the quicker you heal. So luckily I got it at a young age. Like, people who get it when they're 30 and up, like, take so long to heal, and they sometimes they don't even heal, you know, they stay paralyzed and shit. So basically what happens is your nerves pass out or some shit like that. I don't even know why. And then, you know, your muscles then can't work because you have no nerves. So it started, that's why I was feeling numb, because I didn't have any muscles or nerves to feel anything. And they were like, oh, get him to the emergency room before it reaches his lungs, because then he can't breathe. So then they brought me into the emergency room, and they wanted to do a spinal tap, where they take the big-ass needle and jab it in your spine to see what's good. My mom told me that she knew that I was so gone and out of it because I was just willing to get a spinal tap done without any, like, you know, I didn't fight it. And because I hate needles, and the spinal tap, apparently the needle is pretty big. And at that point I was just like, yo, do what you need to do. Like, I didn't even feel it. I was like, you know, I was fading, and I was just like, they did it. And then at that point, I think I passed out after that point. After that, they decided that I needed a I needed a trach, where they put a tube in this part of the throat to breathe for me in my lungs, because my muscles weren't strong enough to breathe for me. And obviously, if I can't breathe, I die. So they, you know, did that in time. So I woke up 2 weeks later, because I was, like, sleeping for a week. They had me under a lot of drugs. So I woke up 2 weeks later, and I I was, like, conscious enough to know what had happened, that I had this disease, and that they put these tubes in me. So 2 weeks later, I woke up, and I was, like, had kind of blurry vision. I was, like, almost completely paralyzed. I could only really move my arms a little bit, and I had all these tubes. I had this tracheotomy tube, and I also had a feeding tube, where I was getting my food from, in, like, this, like, liquid type of thing. So when I woke up, this was, like, covered, and there was a tube, and I was just like, shit. I guess they cut to put that shit in, but, you know, the tube was in there, and I was being fed, and I lost all this weight, you know, after a week of not eating and not moving. I went from, like, 130 to 107 pounds, so I was, like, all skinny and shit, and had all these tubes cut. I'm ready. At first, I remember in high school, because I was out of school for the first half of junior year of high school, and then I came back, and, you know, people knew what had happened to me, but when I came back, they saw scar on me, and a lot of people known what had happened, so, you know, I didn't have to do too much explaining, but a lot of people asked and stuff, and I could tell when people, like, look at it for a long time, obviously, because I'm making eye contact with them, and they're not making eye contact with me, and it's always funny to think, like, are they aware that I see them staring at my scar and not, like, asking about it and shit? I don't know, only a few times have people been that awkward about it and, like, staring at it. A lot of the time people, like, ask about it or, like, touch it, like, and ask to touch it, like, they don't, like, you know, they're not awkward about it. But it's funny because then, like, I come here to MCAT and people don't know me and don't know what happened to me. And a lot of people are, like, they're nice about it. They're like, oh, I hope you don't mind me asking for what happened. And I explain what happened, like, pretty normally. Like, I have the story down packed. Like, I know how to explain it and shit. They're like, okay, I'm sorry if, you know, I didn't. They're like, sorry for asking and shit. I'm like, no, it's all good. Like, I'd rather people ask, you know, rather than, like, avoid it or, like, be curious but don't ask about it. Like, I'd rather them, you know, ask so I can explain. They'll know what happened. It's not a secret, and I know it's obvious. But for me, like, I don't even think about it anymore. Like, at first I was self-conscious. I was like, shit, like, this big ass, like, scar, like, you know, people are gonna see it. People are like, can I hide it? Wear high shirts, and, like, I don't know. I still wish I could wear big ass shirts, like, and not have it be so seen. You know, but there's no avoiding it, and it's, what is it, like 3-5 years later now? I don't even know how many years it's been. I'm just used to it, and if people are going to ask, they'll ask, and they'll know, and that's a good thing. If they don't ask, then I'm fine with it, you know. I'm, like, not comfortable on camera. Okay, wait.